firearm-related injury past motor vehicle crashes for the leading cause of childhood deaths,
You want to
and
know
yet nobody
why?
wants to do anything.
You want to know why? Well, obviously because like there's a lot of guns and people are not keeping them safe, and kids are accidentally shooting themselves in the face and stuff. But do you want to know why, for example, motor vehicle crash accidents have greatly diminished? Regulation. That's precisely why. That is the reason, because they have stricter safety regulation around like child seats and how and what cars need to do in order to have
Look how
children
many
in the
lives
car.
they saved since 2000.
Yeah,
Look, they lowered the car deaths in half. I mean, that's pretty
crazy.
incredible. And
There's car
meanwhile,
control, and it fucking works. It works.
yeah.
So maybe we should do gun control as well. Especially
Meanwhile,
when
look at
considering that a
this.
car is fundamentally a tool that you need to go to work. You can't ride your
Abolish the
fucking
DMV,
AR-15.
bro.
You can't ride your AR-15 to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all of the arguments
Abolish
that
the
gun
DMV.
nuts. All the arguments that gun nuts launch in defense of guns is stupid. It's incredibly easily
it's
dismissible.
beyond stupid. It's like cult talk.
Yeah,
Like, you can only believe something so nonsensical of a notion as we need more guns in schools to stop this happening. You have to be like brainwashed. You have to actually be fucking part of a cult to believe that.
yeah.
Everyone in the world looks at that and says these people are fucking insane, and they're right.
Yeah. New Zealand has a really interesting approach to this, by the way. For example, in New Zealand, there are 5 million people, but 1.5 million guns in circulation. There's hunting culture and whatnot. And one of the things that they do in New Zealand is like you need a character review, basically. You need 3 people from your life to vouch for you.
That's fucking interesting.
Along with like mental evaluation.
A lot of these school shooters, people be like, hell no.
I mean, that's a great first step. Or a national gun registry, which people consider to be fascist and tyrannical.
It's awesome.
Just like the DMV. Put a DMV for guns. I'm not against shooting guns.
guys.
I love shooting guns. I've shot all matter of different guns. I've shot Dracos. I've shot automatic shotguns. Okay. I'm a fan of shooting guns at the gun range.
This isn't happening in a vacuum. Kids are being killed.
Yeah.
Every fucking year. Like, y'all got to concede. It's time to concede. Look at this.
Yeah.
All these mass shootings, AR-15. You guys, it's time to fucking concede. Okay? Stop it.
It's just, look, the worst part about this is that it quite literally is the way that we like write piecemeal legislation around guns to like, abolish the pistol grip, for example, in the state of California. You can't use a pistol grip AR-15 if you have a long barrel rifle. Like, all of those things are just annoying for the most part, okay? When the main issue at hand is that there are too many guns in circulation and there's too many guns in the streets in general. We need to do buyback programs. We need to, like, there are things that we can do immediately that would help. Stopping the manufacturing of new weapons is a good one. We already have this like arbitrary distinction that we apply that no gun freak actually turns around and says is inappropriate. Automatic weapons. Automatic weapons are impossible to acquire nearly as a civilian. You need to pay a fuckload of money in taxes. There's like a big burden there to even be able to purchase an automatic rifle. And on top of that, there are not that many automatic rifles in civilian circulation. And people still get their hands on it, obviously, but there's a reason why you don't see it too much. There's a reason why it's not like the main weapon used, the weapon of choice in like these kinds of school shootings and these kind of actions, these kind of instances, because it's hard to come by. That's an arbitrary distinction, but that actually technically violates the Second Amendment, but everybody understands it. And we've had long barrel rifle bans in the past, and even then it was an arbitrary distinction because people will always say like, well, what's the difference between an AR-15 and a pistol? Like, I don't understand. Like, you could technically make an AR-15 out of a pistol. Like, well, you guys are so stupid. Doesn't matter.
Well, hold on.
Legislate that away as well.
People say that, and then I say, well, these guys understood the difference.
AR-15 is low recoil. It's billed as a weapon that you can actually have children and women shoot. I like shooting AR-15s. I know how easy it is to shoot an AR-15. It's significantly easier to shoot than a handgun. Most people don't realize that. It's a semi-automatic long barrel rifle.
Fast as fuck, dude.
Yeah, and well, the Las Vegas one also had a bump stock too, which is like using the recoil to turn a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon. But ultimately, you need to be able to demonstrate competence, have people vouch for you, have a mental or psych evaluation before you are able to handle a gun like AR-15. You need to also demonstrate proper safety protocols, and also register not only your weapon but have a gun license. Basically, these are super understandable and super common sense gun laws that
That's amazing. That would
we should
that
have had.
basically stop. I feel like that would stop a lot of the gun violence we see in schools.
It,
Basically,
it would make it harder. It would make it harder for people to be able to easily acquire
but
weapons.
that's too much. That's too much.
But
to
it's
ask.
inconveniencing, and that is what the
Yeah,
heart of
it's
the problem
inconvenient.
is. People that love guns do not want to be inconvenienced
Kids are
with
dying.
these kinds of things, so they turn around and act like, oh, this is tyrannical, that the government is, I don't want to give the government my information. Bitch, you already do that. You do that every day. You do that for the DMV for your license. Why
Social
not for the
security
gun?
number, fucking DMV, credit cards,
And then
bills,
the other
utilities.
incredibly annoying thing, again, I'm just like going off the top of my head with like all the common pro gun arguments.
By the way,
just to, like,
don't say it's technically against the Second Amendment, because it's not. The Second Amendment doesn't protect your right to fucking
no,
anything.
it's against their interpretation of
Yeah,
the Second
that's
Amendment.
better.
Though. That's what I mean. Like it's against their
I don't
interpretation.
even, that's like plays into their thing. Like the Second Amendment doesn't guarantee shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a well-regulated militia, which your ass is not.
Yeah. Another thing that people will use is like, well, this is just stopping, law-abiding citizens from being able to get guns easily. Illegal guns will still be in circulation. Of course it will be. But the point is to make it as hard as possible to get a fucking gun so that people, like all of these fucking shooters that some of them used guns that they acquired legally, some of them that use guns that they acquired illegally, would not be able to use these guns. Okay, it would make it much harder for them to be able to do this. And for those of you who say, "Oh man, what about like Chicago, or what about what about places where there's like strict gun laws?" Chicago is not a fucking island completely removed from states where you can easily acquire a weapon.
Stupid.
Every single gun that you see used illegally, that was purchased through straw purchases or through the black market, was originally a legal gun. Guns do not
100%.
grow on fucking trees.
They all come
You
in
can
from out of
easily
state.
go to Idaho, get a gun, and then go back into Illinois. Okay,
What happens?
there's no border checkpoint. They're not looking to see if you're like buying guns illegally. And that's precisely why in Chicago, which Republicans racistly love to fucking point to and be like, oh, look at black on black crime, like focus on that, when they don't give a shit about it, or act like black people don't give a shit about it when they clearly do, which is super racist anyway. But when you look at Chicago, the overwhelming majority of those guns are coming in from other states where it's legal to purchase. Yeah. This is something that we need to tackle and dismantle at the federal level. And I'm sick and tired of Republicans acting like it's not a big deal. And I'm sick and tired of the Democratic Party who then turn around and cry on the bully pulpit, but then turn around and not do anything about it.
The one thing that I hear too is like, there's no point, and you hear this all the time, there's no point in outlawing rifles. Criminals are going to find a way to get it anyway. Really, bitch? Then why the fuck did he wait till he was 18 to do this?
I mean, in this instance,
he didn't buy the fucking rifles until he was 18. You know why? Because they were illegal to obtain, you fucking
In this
moron.
instance, yes. But there are instances where they like get it illegally too. There's ghost guns. Doesn't matter. You cannot talk about how difficult it is going to be to solve a problem to use that as a reason for just no legislation whatsoever. You can't say like, oh well, fucking people are still murdering even though murder is illegal. Let's abolish the fucking law that criminalizes murder. You can't do that. That's insane, right? There's no other instance.
Yeah, it's like saying, well, there's no point in outlawing murder. People are still going to murder.
Yeah, it's insane, but people still advance that argument. The Attorney General Ken Paxton in Texas quite literally said that. He basically said, like, well, these people are violating the murder law. Why would they even follow the gun law? Well, bitch, they did. And it's not about, like, completely eliminating gun violence, okay? It's not. You are never going to be able to completely eliminate gun violence, especially in a country whose culture is so violent, especially in a country where there's so many guns in circulation. The point is to try to minimize it. That is why we put fucking laws in the books. That's it. You're never going to make it zero gun violence, okay? It's not going to happen. Other countries have been able to do it. We can't do it. We're too far gone. But let's try to, at the very least, make sure that make sure that more babies are not fucking being murdered at schools. Like it's just mind-boggling to me.
They go, well, that's not going to work. It's like, well, have you tried it?
No, we
That's not
can't
going to
try
work.
it.
Well,
We
why
can't
don't
try
we?
it.
No, no. Anyway, here's Greg.